Well, another installment. We seem to be doing daily ones because I don't know about where anybody else is, and this is December, I don't know, 8th, 9th, whatever, but I ain't seen the fucking sun in 5 days. So yeah, it's fucking dreary and shit. But let me show you what my buddy Mike Haas just put back out. Spaghetti Western Digest Volume 2. Meaty motherfucker here. Some great stuff in here, great reviews, which I like sort of halfway through this one, but A Man Called Noon, some of the Louis L'Amour westerns that were done in Italy, things like that. Bunch of interviews and stuff. Like I said, I just got this the other day. You can get it on Amazon, or maybe from Mike himself. But anyway, this sort of segued into what I'm going to talk about today. Because we were just, going back and forth on Facebook about some films, westerns, especially Euro westerns, that wound up on like late night TV. I used to say 5:00 in the morning because there was a progression of TV back in my area where basically at one point everything shut down 1 o'clock in the morning. It would be like whatever was playing would just hit. There would be the national anthem, a sermonette, and a fucking test pattern till about, I'm going to say maybe 6 in the morning. So, the way it went back then was, you get to about 11:30, there would be some movie, I guess 90 minutes, so yeah, the movie would end at 1 o'clock. Whatever programming they throw in, plus commercials, so well, you're going back into the 60s, so we're not really talking longer movies unless they were big mainstream things. You're probably talking, your average B movie, which would be running 75, 70 minutes, sometimes 60 minutes. So they throw in the commercials there. Of course, you would lose something in the translation, of course, but still, that stuff would run. That would be the late show. They called that the late show. Now, after, I'm trying to think, it had to be mid-60s because, I was really into movies and a lot of stuff was showing up late night, like after 1 o'clock now, that I was really interested in. Some spaghetti westerns, some West German Edgar Wallace stuff, and the AIP catalog of black and white stuff. And other things were just flopping around here and there. Just some strange things that sometimes today I've never seen them come back. There was a spy thing with Frank Lovejoy and Lee Marvin called Shack Out on 101 back in the 50s that I saw there. Again, don't know if that had ever, come out on VHS or DVD. There was a film directed by, I think, Irvin Kershner, who directed, I guess it was one of the Star Wars films, or maybe two of them. But it was a film with Jonathan Hayes about heroin and was called Stakeout on Dope Street. And again, never saw that outside of late night TV. And, these were just some of these little quirky films that were put on there. The Mamie Van Doren films like Girls, Gangsters, and Guns, things like that showed up. But the stranger ones, and I'm trying to think, like I said, I'm going back maybe, let's go 66 maybe, 67. All right, so whatever age I am, okay, I was born in 52. I'm a teenager. Of course, I can't drive yet, early teens. So what I would do is, I'd look in the TV guide, and the TV guide back then would have the country of origin next to the film for some reason. It would say, if it was a horror film, horror West German. So you're looking at this going, okay, this is something fucking different. Plus I was awake, wanted to stay up and see this stuff. I think the original, reason for me getting up was to see, the AIP stuff, because I love, the AIP horror movies, and they were showing the horror movies, the Corman westerns, the war movies that, were like maybe 30 minutes worth of acting and 60 minutes worth of stock footage from World War II. So you had all that, but then there was one that came out, Minnesota Clay. I think it was released the same year as Fistful of Dollars. I guess it ran whatever it ran, and then that wound up on late night TV. So that's the first place I saw that. And another one that I hadn't seen anywhere else was something called The Gunfighters of Casa Grande. And that had, the only American star I remember was Alex Nicole. And outside of the late night TV, once again, I haven't seen that anywhere since. Then there was stuff, what the hell was the one with Shatner, White Comanche? Some of these Shatterhand things with Stuart Granger from West Germany would show up. And then you would have these, Brian and Edgar Wallace West German films. I think they called them Kermies or something, whatever it was. Usually it was a West German British cast. Christopher Lee was in a lot of them. Klaus Kinski, Heinz Dracht, Eddie Arndt, Jacqueline Berger. And these things were like really interestingly fucked up because, I'm watching this stuff on a black and white TV. Some of them were obviously in color. So you had a lot of swirling mists, castles, secret panels, spiders, switchblades, snakes, and Klaus Kinski being fucking weird in every one of them. The one I saw that actually stuck in my mind and introduced me to Klaus was something called Circus of Fear, which was on late at night and was weirdly released theatrically here as Psycho Circus and only about 60 minutes long. And this one had Christopher Lee, Victor Madden, Klaus Kinski, Leo Glenn, Anthony Newland, Eddie Arndt, Heinz Dracht, Susie Kendall. It was set against, it was a heist film. It opened up as a big heist film, and then somebody, the Victor Madden character, gets carried away and shoots a fucking guard. It wasn't supposed to happen. And the whole heist thing happens before the credits roll. Kinski sets up, for the bridge to be closed or something like that. It's a whole contrived thing. Well, basically, the Madden character has to bring the boss's money out to a certain location, and he winds up getting a knife thrown at him and killed. It's in this circus winter quarters. Actually, they use the real circus. And now it's like anybody else connected with the robbery gets fucking busted. And the boss, whoever the boss is, the mysterious boss, nobody knows who it is. So it's like a big whodunit. Because, it's all set under the big top. Leo Glenn is the investigator. Anthony Newland is the owner of the circus. Eddie Arndt is this clownish guy. Heinz Dracht is a ringmaster. And Christopher Lee is a scarred ringmaster wearing a mask. Actually, Christopher Lee is impersonating a brother. Actually, they were twin brothers. One was killed by the lion, and Christopher Lee character, playing the lion tamer, has taken his identity because he escaped from prison or something on some murder rap. So there's that going on. There's this whole missing money going on, the missing money being found and spent by a mysterious person. A dwarf played by Skip Young, Mr. Big, who's a blackmailer. Just a real twist-turning whodunit, for lack of better words. I mean, I really liked the movie, and like I said, it introduced me to Klaus Kinski. Another one that came to mind was something called The Creature with the Blue Hand, which came in later. Actually, that one, before it hit TV, it was weird. Some of these things would be on late night TV and still be playing locally, theatrically. And Creature with the Blue Hand, I remember seeing it on TV late night. It was where Kinski was playing a set of twin brothers. One of them escaped from a lunatic asylum or something. There was basically a killer with razor blade hands that predated Freddy Krueger by almost maybe 30 years. So ain't the first time that was done. But again, this had all, the creepy shit. This was in color with the swirling mists and, the castles and the snakes and fucking switchblades and stuff. A lot of this stuff, slipped through the cracks. I think, Something Weird Video is not going to do any more burn-on-demands after the first of the year, and they have some of that in their catalog, so that would be a place to grab them. Fred Owen Ray put a bunch out on Retro Media Video, if that stuff's still floating around. They're just interesting films to watch. Of course, Minnesota Clay has since been picked up by, I believe Wild East put it out in a restored version. Gunfighters of Casa Grande, I don't know. Maybe something weird might have that also. I got to check that out before I lose that one. But, you know, this was the whole thing. You know, late night TV, and like the later you stayed up, the weirder it got. Trying to think of some of the show, the great show, the late show. You know, it just was like a whole different time, and it was like, you know, when you're living in an era right now where, okay, you want to stream something, you just bloop and you stream it. Back then, you didn't want to miss any of this shit when it was, you know, actually running, because odds are it wouldn't run again. Like I said, there's a shitload of films that I have seen, I can remember, and they've never been released. You know, there's so much out there. I mean, there's an off possibility maybe on some of these, you know, burn on demand archives or something like that. But, you know, it's just a weird plethora of films, and for myself, I keep going back to certain shit because, you know, you'll get, as, you know, I write the magazine and stuff, you like pull up character actors, like I've done stuff on, you know, Leo Gordon, Richard Jekyll, Jack Elam, you know, people like that. But you always find something interesting about a guy who, you know, wouldn't be categorized as sort of like a Grindhouse type person. But when you dig deeper down into like their filmography, you do find out that, you know, a lot of people started out in Grindhouse stuff, or stuff that we would consider Grindhouse stuff, and went on to superstardom and ended their careers in Grindhouse type stuff. So it's all a cycle depending on, you know, what you want. You know, a lot of these guys just wanted to work. Just, you know, a lot of these guys, you know, just wanted maybe one last hurrah before they went. And, you know, unfortunately, most of these guys are no longer with us. But that's, you know, sort of, you know, why I like to watch and dig back into stuff that, you know, maybe I never saw again, because, you know, the guy who's like, you know, the fucking hero today was yesterday's nasty heavy sometimes. So, you know, I don't know outside of my area what they would have had as far as, you know, late night showcases and say the West Coast or New England or something like that. I know we had, you know, going back to like Zachary, we had Shock Theater, but then Shock Theater was late at night. Shock Theater, I believe, was like 11 o'clock at night back in the day. Monster movies were, you know, another sometimes no-no back then, you know, but hey, look, we all know what sold. You know, the directors and the producers know what sold. They gave us some great product. You know, it was just like, you know, as somebody who liked a lot of this weird shit then, sometimes it was like really fucking tough growing up because you were, you know, typecast a weirdo because, oh, I remember a nun ripping up Famous Monsters #4 right in front of me because I was dumb enough to try to smuggle it to school and show it off. So that's probably worth a couple $1,000 today, but, you know, that's what you went through because if you liked this stuff, you know, and like I said, I grew up on it and you were considered a fucking weirdo. And, you know, you're in the company of other weirdos. Now, how many, you know, weirdos like myself and Mike Vraney and Kevin Clement and a bunch of fucking people just grew up and, you know, made a career out of, you know, either doing shows or being a personality or fucking whatever, or creating companies and stuff. I mean, we all love the stuff and that's why we do it. Sometimes it's a love-hate relationship, but like I said, you know, when you grow up as a TV was your babysitter and you went from like watching stuff on $1 Million Movie when you were, you know, in your formative years to watching all this crazy shit late at night when you were a teenager. Hey, I thought it was fucking cool, but again, that's what we knew, that's what we loved. We didn't have any of this, you know, great stuff that we have today. So, you know, for us, that was the greatest thing that ever fucking happened to us. Doing, you know, watching this shit late at night and seeing it in drive-ins and movie theaters. So, you know, that was our world back then. Shame that, you know, world no longer exists, and, you know, shame that thanks to fucking COVID, you know, we hope it comes back, but who the fuck knows? Strange and dangerous times, my friends. But again, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to leave any comments. I try to reply as many as possible. And above all, mask up and stay safe. See you on the flip side.